Okay, you're going to want to take your components, put them on the wire first, then feed the wire through the hole. Much easier to work on these things outside of the chassis. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tin the binding post first, and then the wire, and then connect the two. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it on outside of the chassis, because this is the grommet that protects the binding post from the chassis so nothing can short. Okay, so we're going to take that, we're going to put that on the wires to get it out of the way for now. You can see it kind of fits in the hole pretty nicely. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to solder these parts. Okay. Now, just so you know, we have done this multiple ways. This is not an easy component to solder to. If you have a very high temperature soldering iron, it makes it a little bit easier, but we've used butane torches to heat this part up enough to solder to it. But if you do that, you need to completely disassemble this thing, because you will melt and crack the plastic. So if you want to use a butane torch, take all of this apart first, put this in a pair of vice grips or something, and you can superheat this end and get the solder to flow pretty easily. I'm going to go ahead and solder to it. This iron is pretty high temperature and shouldn't have much of a problem. But if you do have trouble soldering to these, we recommend you use butane torch and just heat up the end till the solder starts to flow. But take it apart first, because it will melt the plastic. Okay, for what we're doing, it's not going to get that hot. Butane's like 2,000 degrees, so you definitely don't want to do that with the plastic parts in the way. And obviously it's a very thick part, so you understand why it's hard to solder to. And if I'm not mistaken, these binding posts are made out of copper and then rhodium coated, so they'll take a lot of heat. But like I said, as long as your soldering iron is hot enough, you shouldn't have any trouble. Right there, that's like totally liquid and making a nice connection on there. So I'm not going to worry about it too much here. Now, I'm going to try to do this right-handed. That's a joke. I can't do anything right-handed. You can see where if you've got a torch, this would be a lot easier. So you can just flood it with flux and superheat it. Oh, there you go. Oh, maybe not. Leave it on there a little bit longer this time. I can feel the heat transferring through the plastic in my hand, so it's getting hot for sure. Problem is, the part gets so hot to get the flux to flow that it stays hot and it keeps the solder liquid. That wire is crazy hot. There you go. That's not going anywhere. Okay. Now you can see if you used a foot of wire to do this, you've got extra. You really don't need that much wire, but just for ease later on, if somebody needs to take it apart and they want to redo something, you've got extra, you can work around it. Okay. Okay. Put the washers on the back, and then tighten down your nut. Now this, you'd probably want to use like an adjustable wrench, or if you have an open end wrench, would work really nicely. If you can turn this and twist the body part, a little trick for people is you can use pretty much any tool and really torque down on the outside if you can keep the nut on the inside from turning. So basically, grab the nut. Let me see if I got another pair of pliers to grab it with. Yeah, let's try this. Grab the nut on the inside, and you can sit here and turn the outside and really torque down on it and keep torquing down until it's really bottomed out. Okay, so once you get it where you want it, just take the whole thing and turn it so that your slots are vertical. That way when you go to hook up a set of speaker wires with a spade, your little notches in the binding post line up. Okay, then put this back on. There you go. So now you got the positive side done all the way into the crossover. Yellow wire is going to go to your ribbon. Blue wire is going to go to your woofers.